YouTube, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the show. Something huge just dropped. The Canary XRP ETF filing. It is going live. It could be live any minute now. And get this, Jay Claver is now calling for a 4-digit XRP by Q1 of next year. You heard that right, 4 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, baby. Buckle up because by the end of this, you are going to be excited as I am. Without further ado, let's jump into it. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And hey, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We're starting right here. Canary, they just filed the 8A form for their ETF. That is the final step before the launch. That's right. And if history repeats itself, and you know it usually does, this thing could go live any minute now. I'm ready. I know you're ready. Thursday, that's always been the rumored date for weeks. But when Canary filed Form 8A with HBAR, guess what? It went live the very next day. That's why everyone is watching closely right now, just like I am. I got it on my screen down here. I'm refreshing. I'm waiting for this thing to start trading. Look, all boxes are checked. The setup is complete. This isn't hopium anymore. This isn't if we get an XRP ETF. It is now when will the trading open. This is the very first, because for the first time ever in the United States, we have a regulated cryptocurrency that is going to have a spot, a fully spot, the XRP ETF. Stay tuned, folks. Any minute now, everything can change. And let's just jump into Jake and what he got to say, because my man, he doubled down on his wildest call yet. He's saying XRP, it's going to hit 4 digits by the end of Q1 2026. Sounds insane until you remember what we have cooking for us. We have all these ETF filings locked. I believe we're up to 12 that are going to officially go live, with another, I don't know what, 19 or 20 kicking around in the back end. We got global adoption and it's expanding. We have Ripple buying up billion-dollar fintech firms like it's nothing. Let's listen to Jake.
He says, "Hi Jake, my boyfriend has around 10,000 XRP. Will he be able to quit his job as a police officer soon? He has a lot of confidence in XRP, but I'm not so sure. We always watch your content." Thank you for that, Addy. I sure hope so. I think that things are going to play out. I don't know that he'll be able to quit his job immediately. I probably wouldn't even recommend that he quit his job immediately on the other side of price appreciation. $100 XRP would give you $1 million. Is that right? Yeah. You had $1 million for 10,000 XRP. Now, if it goes to $1,000, now we're talking. Now we got, $10 million. That's enough to retire on. That's enough to stop working. You can put it to work at 5%, earn $500,000 a year, and be just fine. But for $1 million, if you're earning 5% on that, that's $50,000 a year. It could supplement your income, but most people can't live on $50,000 a year. I mean, unless you live in Oklahoma or Arkansas, it's pretty hard to get by on just $50,000 a year. So I don't know that he'll be able to quit. I hope that he will. I think by at the end of Q1 next year, I think we are for sure at 4 digits. And at that point, yeah, now you got $10 million and we'll have products to be able to put it to work and earn you, 3 to 5% on that. So it'd be somewhere between $300,000 and $500,000 a year. Yeah, like that's a good enough income that you could probably step away from being a police officer and travel.
There you go. 4 digits by the end of Q1. Look, when liquidity starts to flood into these ETFs and Ripple continues to dominate cross-border settlement, payments, the whole cross-border realm, that kind of parabolic move, does it really sound impossible to you? It mathematically sounds like it's doable. Jake's not throwing numbers around for clout, right? He's connecting dots that lead straight to the massive valuation territory. And fun fact for folks out there, you need about 3 million to retire. 3 million, throw in some good equities, throw into the stock market, some good growth mutual funds, earn about 7%, a very casual number. You're looking at about $210,000 per year, minus your taxes, looking at about 160K take home. That is more than probably about 90 to 95% of Americans take home per month. That's the secret of wealth right there. And then you just keep reinvesting and you keep growing. And we move over to this. If 4 digits doesn't happen, well, how about this? A realistic counter on it, right? An elite wave expert just said that there is an extremely high chance that XRP hits $30 this cycle. That's not hopium either, because that is based on long-term fractals and Fibonacci extensions that have never failed when you look at XRP's macro waves. $30 from here, it would still be life-changing run for us early holders. So whether it's $30, $300, or $3,000, the point is clear. Your next move up on XRP, it's gonna be violent, and I'm gonna be here for it, and I can't wait to make the video on it. And it's not just Canary anymore. Check this one out. 21 Shares. They have filed 2 new crypto index ETFs, TTOP and TXBC, and they're both headed for the New York Stock Exchange. These are not, I want to repeat, these are not Bitcoin only funds. They hold XRP, Solana, and get this, Tron, among others. That's right. To my knowledge, this is the first ETF, or basket, I should say, that is holding Tron in it. Very interesting. I didn't know Tron was still around and kicking. You don't really hear much from Justin Sun anymore now, do you? So what does this mean? It's simple. More exposure to XRP is about to be spread across multiple ETF baskets simultaneously. Now, when I tell you the number out there is about 24 XRP ETFs, those are ETFs that only contain XRP. We are not counting the baskets that we have. And there's going to be a crazy amount of baskets. I would say we probably going to have, right off the rip, 3 dozen. So another 36 baskets that contain XRP in it. So when we look at the full number of ETFs that we're going to see, whether it's a percentage of XRP that's in the ETF or whether it's 100% a fully spot XRP ETF, you're realistically probably looking at 4 dozen or so, like this, right out the gate. The baskets are going to be huge, folks, and it doesn't matter if XRP has 1% of the basket or 99%. What matters is that XRP is in the basket, because look at these baskets. A lot of them do not have your other assets out there, like ICP, one of the most popular tokens right now because it is ready to rip up. It's going a lot higher. You don't see ICP in any of these baskets. So even if you have a 1% allocation in a basket, that's a good thing, right? This is how stealth adoption starts. It goes quietly, and then it all goes at once, which we move over to this. I want to play this clip for you because in the meantime, as we wait for these ETFs to go live, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, he just absolutely destroyed MSNBC on live TV, calling a $20 billion agenda deal a bailout. He clapped back with, well, I'll let you listen to hear what he clapped back with.
Amid this discussion of costs and prices and affordability, how does a $20 billion bailout of Argentina help Americans? You're the president's point person on that. Can you explain to those here who are feeling the pinch, including America's farmers, why the United States is helping out Argentina?
Well, do you know what a swap line is?
Oh boy.
It's currency swap, yes.
Yes, but what is that?
You're the Treasury Secretary.
Yes, but why would you call it a bailout?
That is how...
In most bailouts, you don't make money. The U.S. government made money. We used our financial balance sheet to stabilize the government. One of our great allies in Latin America, during an election, the president there won in a landslide. The government's going to make money. And I would rather use peace through economic strength than have to be shooting at narco boats coming offshore if the government collapsed. We have a generational opportunity in Latin America to create allies. We just saw an election in Bolivia. We're probably going to see an election in Colombia. We've seen them in Ecuador. We're going to see them in the Chile. So by stabilizing the economy there and making a profit, then that's a very good deal for the American people. And there's a lot we could have been doing for American farmers, but Democrats closed the government.
They absolutely destroyed him there. Kind of makes you chuckle, right? Says, do you know what a swap line is? Because in most bailouts, you don't make money. In the US, they made money. This isn't just a meme moment. This is confidence in the US financial system's ability to profit from these global liquidity operations. And what is Ripple's entire mission? Building swap lines for value, right? Except on chain. This is macro validation of Ripple's model. Real-time liquidity between nations, everyone, which moves us to this. Over 244 million in longs. They got wiped out once again. You really think, come on, do you really think this is coincidence? October 10th, 19 billion gets wiped out. Now the markets pump a little bit, 244 million in longs get wiped out. They're shaking the tree again. They're trying to scare you before all these ETFs go live. We've heard at Ripple Swell there's 150 ETFs waiting to go live, sitting on the desk of the SEC, who is going back to work. What do you think they're doing? Manipulation, scare tactics. They want you out of the markets. Why? Because when you sell, guess who's buying them? BlackRock, Fidelity, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. Think about that, folks. They are clearing retail off of the board right before the rocket ignites. Don't get shaken out of a setup that whales have spent years engineering. Which moves us over to this and Ripple's 2025 dominance as the year comes to an end. Let's talk about what Ripple has done in 2025. $4 billion in acquisitions. They purchased Hidden Road for $1.3 billion. They acquired G Treasury for another $1 billion plus. They launched Ripple Prime, which sounds to me like Amazon Prime, which is a full-blown institutional trading desk. And then they raised $500 million in fresh funding, putting their valuation at $40 billion. Ripple is not a crypto project anymore. It is a financial empire quietly absorbing traditional finance piece by piece. I hope you can see that and understand what is going on. And look at Ripple's dominant 2025, because out of all the crypto companies out there, Ripple 100% was the most dominant, especially with all the acquisitions and what they are doing and where they are going. And the end of the year is shaping up to be one of the most explosive times for crypto, even leaking over into next year. What do the manipulators keep doing? They keep shaking that tree. They want you out. Don't let them buy your crypto yet. Wait for the price to rise, and then they can clearly have it if that's what you decide to do, right? So let's piece this all together here. The Canary ETF is going live at any minute now. Jake Clavers, he's calling for a 4 digits by 2026. 244 million in liquidations just hit across the crypto market. Grayscale and 21 Shares, they're locking XRP into ETF products. And Ripple's empire, it just keeps expanding across the financial world. This isn't coincidence. This is a coordinated liquidity revolution. Look, you got two options. You can either fight it or you can front run it. That's it. Because when these ETFs and those switch flips, I said it backwards. I flipped the switch. You see what I did there? XRP, it's not just going to jump, everyone. It's going to reprice the entire system. And it is finally going to break away from Bitcoin's dominance, because that is what ETFs enable these cryptocurrencies to do. They allow them to escape the dominance and the chokehold that Bitcoin has had over these markets for the past 10 plus years. I hope you enjoyed. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see all y'all